You're such an asshole.
We have an original request. If you don't have to have a question. Sometimes people pay for originals. One guy paid for 10 because Cappy comes up with some ideas and some thoughts. And how do I get girls? Should I major in this? Those questions kind of get boring. Although they may be beneficial to the individual having the consultation request. But then if you're like, hey, I'd like to hear what Cappy has to say, you could pay. And then that way, those ideas move to the front because they're paid. I always have to do the ones that I'm paid for. And every once in a while, have you noticed how I haven't done a podcast in a while? Because there's no time. Anyway, so someone paid for an original. And this one, riddle me this, riddle me that. It's been riddling my mind for quite some time. I wrote this book. Where is it? How Not to Become a Millennial, co-authored with a guy called Vince Barrett. And the main premise of that book was, okay, we have taken an entire generation, a millennial generation, and the left and the social sciences and the liberal arts geniuses and the government had their field day. You had an entire generation to practice your Frankenstein monster social science experiments on this generation. You got your little socialism. You got you're great and amazing. You got to try it all. And now that the millennials, this book is a little bit older, millennials are approaching 40. I'm like, okay, how'd that work? How'd that work for you? How's that going for you? And without a doubt, and the data is in there, the millennials, by every measure of an imagination, as the generation, not the individual, of course, is an abject failure, a literal, veritable wasted crop of human beings. That doesn't mean they don't have any value. That doesn't mean that they're not savable or salvageable. All I'm saying is, look, you put these kids who are now adults, you did the Dr. Spock, not the Star Trek guy, the child counselor guy. You had it all. You got your run. You got your child one with an entire generation. What happened? And it's like, okay, it's an abject failure. And it's had a very interesting and unique response because the millennials think I hate them. It's like, no, the book tells you how to turn your life around. You're half dead. Do you want to? I'm trying to explain to you what happened, why you're miserable, why you're a failure, and what you can do. We've died. You have a disease. I accurately diagnosed the disease. Here's the solution to the disease. And they're pissed off at me because I'm daring to point out, look, you got these problems. Here's the solution to the problems. Do you want to salvage the last half of your life? And some people are negatively responding to that. Others are like thankful, like, hey, you helped me. Yeah, you're right. I stopped majoring in whatever philosophy and I majored in plumbing. And, I did hit the gym. I realized that I wasn't perfect the way my parents told me to be. And I had to become something of value that other people would want. So it's been a mixed reaction. But the universal response I get, which confirms, see, you gotta pay attention when people, what their words say and what it also says that may not be obviously stated. The immediate kind of go-to is, well, we were lied to. To which I say, so then you admit you got screwed. You admit this is a bad situation. You admit you're wrong. Now you got wrong information. You made the wrong choice. But this experiment, this great Frankenstein experiment we had on an entire generation of American kids, now adults, were wrong. And I always go to, well, who told you what? And because I know things and I'm an economist, I'm like, oh, so you listen to basically socialists' advice. Your parents were socialists, your teachers were socialists, your professors were socialists. You follow all the socialists' advice. So what's the solution? Maybe free market? Maybe lay back off the taxes? Maybe the government isn't the salvation and the Jesus Christ of your life? Oh, no. Well, you just told me that you were lied to. Who lied to you? It wasn't the Republicans in the Senate. It wasn't Mike Rowe. But regardless of what that tells you, when they said, well, we were lied to, I agree. You were lied to. All right? You were given the wrong information. And either you were lied to unconsciously, which is usually your parents, because your parents didn't know Jack. They were boomers. or consciously, which I would argue is your teachers and professors that told you, yeah, this socialism thing that never worked out ever, we got it this time. Even though we've never left school since we were 5 years old and have been in the education industry the entire time, we figured it out this time. Oh, by the way, that'll be $300 of credit. Just sign here for the 6.5% interest rate loan. They consciously lied to you. Oh yeah, you don't need men. Oh, men are. Oh yeah, patriarchy. Oh yeah, you're so oppressed. Yeah, work more and pay more and get a master's degree. Yeah, any degree is a good degree. All right, you just sign on the dot. Did you pay the $700 of credit for law school? Okay, thank you very much. Whether you were lied to unconsciously or maliciously, you got the wrong information. And the conclusion of the book, which is linked below, is okay. We know what we did wrong now. We have empirical proof what we did is wrong. Now we can reverse engineer to do what is right and have actual progress and success and wealth and get people out of poverty, blah, 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 blah. But here's what I am fascinated with. Riddle me this, riddle me that, millennial parents. Okay, grant you, your parents, the boomers, absolutely, because there was another generation before you that was also lied to by the boomers. I won't bore you with our story. You were lied to by your boomer parents. Why are you passing on the exact same lies to your children now? That's what I gotta know. Like one hand, now I know not any millennials are not a monolithic group, so some can do this behavior and others could do that behavior, and then as a group it looks contradictory. But there is some of you in this group where the Venn diagram happens where you complain about your situation in life being lied to by the boomers, yet you're passing on the exact same lies to your kids. And I came up with a list, and it's not a comprehensive list. I mean, my God, you guys are lied to about practically everything in life. But we're going to go over some main ones and just tell me if this is what you're telling your kids. And then there's one lie that you're telling your kid, not all of you, of course, but a lot of you are telling your kids that the boomers never told you. And I'm kind of wondering, like, what do you think's going to happen to your kids in your kids' generation? So let's go through some of the key ones, all right? This one, I've just, okay. I mean, keep shooting yourself in the foot, America. This follow your heart and the money will follow. Any degree is a good degree. Major in what you're passionate about. When does that lie stop? How many of you moron millennial parents still have student loan debt from your joke of a liberal arts degree or social science degree? And now you're telling your kids follow their heart and the money will. There's got to be some, right? There's that Venn diagram. Some of you got to exist, right? I know that one's never going away. I know, and there's a main reason none of these are going away, and I'll get to that later because you share something in common with the boomer parents. This idea of socialism, where you don't have to work, what you're entitled to, you have a right to this, you have a right to that, you don't have to work essentially. Right? That's more Gen Z's coming on with that. With sympathetic leanings towards corporate America wasn't exactly fair to begin with anyway. So I'm somewhat there, but this idea that we don't have to work, we're entitled from womb to tomb to be taken care of. I'm like, well, then how does the food get produced? I mean, okay, yeah, you went from kindergarten, from the Marxist teachers that hated your guts, boomers, to the professor Marxist teachers that hated your guts. And they told you this big lie that somehow there's this economic Oort cloud between the economy and big corporations and government. And we just poop out all this goods and services. Like, well, did you ever figure out that labor makes that stuff? And if we do not work, we will not have food or clothing or shelter, let alone video games, movies, and jewelry and fancy clothes or things that you don't need. And you here you are, still telling your kids, well, things should be fair. Where's that gotten you? Where's that? That's more of a light. I'll get into political ideology and religion later. But where did this expectation, would be a better way, that you're going to have free food, clothing, and shelter, where did that come from? And now you're passing that on to your kids. And how well did that work for you? I mean, it is truly a luxurious belief that doesn't pay, and you don't have the money for it, to think that, oh, I should. Yeah, there's a lot of things that should be. When do you give up this pie in the sky college student poppycock and get down to the real world, especially now that you got kids and you're telling your kids this too? Another one, this is more for the ladies in the house. Your career is more important than love. Your career / education is more important than love. Your career is your most important thing. I'm again, that's one where I've watched my generation of women just I see where that ends. Loneliness and spinsterdom. And I think ego protection protects that. I think a lot of women, men too, but more to recently the women, they have such ego investment in it. That's the sunk cost fallacy that, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe women do find more joy and happiness in a career and commuting and paying taxes and sitting in meetings and TPS reports. But I got to imagine that if you loved your kids, especially your daughters, you'd grab them and say, fall in love. People are the number one things. I wish I spent more time raising you instead of stuck working this crap job to pay off my joke of a student loan degree. I am fascinated. Okay, I get it. Patriarchy. You don't like guys that much. Okay, I'll go with you on that. I'll go with you on that. What about your kids? I've never understood why people outsource the kids to daycare in the schools. I never understood that. Like, I look at my nieces and nephews, I'm like, holy cow, these things are fun. Wait, yeah, you want to do that? Yeah, come on. Here's a nickel. Go buy a thing of one-day-old Wonder Bread at the gas station. Let's go feed the fish. Let's go on adventure. Let's go get ice cream. How can you not love your kids? How can you think working is more important than your kids? And by consequence, even though you're all socialist like today, you still all like your stuff. That's another thing I'm fascinated by. Oh, Ronald Reagan, George Bush, Donald Trump bad. Oh, but I need my Range Rover. I need my McMansion in the suburbs. What happened to all the socialism and everything? What happened to love and peace, man? Whoa, mommy needs a new convertible. And work is more important than your kids. And when you really find out, it's not. Geez, tell me if this was the boomers. You don't love your kids, just like the boomers didn't love you. Maybe you love them a little bit, but not as much as the stuff. And let's be very clear, your college degree was a stuff. It was a luxurious thing. You got the college experience. Yay! And $150,000 debt that stuck with you this entire time. And then you have to have the McMansion. You have to have the SUV. Oh my goodness, you have to have the granite countertops. I know a hippie couple, and politics and disagreement aside, they get by. They live in a 2-bedroom apartment. And you know what they do? Sit down, millennial parents. Sit the F down. Hold on, boomers, sit down too. They spend time with their children. There ain't a day these are the nieces and the nephews. There isn't a day that goes by that if I want, I could look up and say, holy cow, look, they're at the park, they're at the zoo, they're at the thing, they're at the stuff. The kids are outside, the kids are doing things. The parents invest time in their kids. And they don't have a lot of fancy stuff. They don't make a lot of money. But you know what? They got their priorities damn right. I think they're the only millennial parents I know that got their priorities right. They're raising their goddamn kids. You guys are doing the exact same thing the boomers are. You're going for your stuff, and stuff includes your joke of a degree, your masturbation material. They're like, oh my God, I'm so smart. I'm so smart. I went to Middlebury. I have my business degree. I got my MBA. Oh, your kid. Oh, no. Shape your kids off. So there, your career's more important than your children. That's all right. Right. And let's revisit socialism. Not socialism as like an expectation, but socialism is like this religion, as it's the most, like, politics is the most noble thing in life. Forget just paying your taxes and being a self-supporting individual. You guys are perfectly all right being net economic parasites, requiring every sort of government aid and assistance and living off your parents. But as long as you recycle, gosh darn Holly, you're a good person. You're down with the cause. You what? I don't know. You protested Trump with the pink hats. You're a you forget whether you're a good parent or a good citizen. It's more important that you got these jokes of ultimately what falls on the umbrella of parasitic politics. That's it. And I don't know if it's just that you want to be good in the eyes of other people. You want to be popular like it's still middle school, even though middle school, by the way, it's over. Didn't know if you knew that. Like, you can't just be a good pharmacist. You got to be a good leftist on top of it. I always called this profession plus politics, or in the case of corporations, profits plus politics. Look, dude, if you work as a truck driver, you're doing a service for society. You don't need to go above and beyond that. You're a truck driver. That's how you contribute to society. That's your profession. Oh, it's not good enough. Oh, I gotta donate to the children's. And then you gotta tell everybody about it. No one gives a damn. And by the way, don't know if you noticed this, since 1965, so if we spent anywhere between 30 and 50 trillion dollars, however you want to measure it, on poverty and socialist leftist causes, you haven't solved a damn thing. And it kind of gets back to like, hey, if you kind of take care of your own and yourself, a lot of these problems go away. But we don't want individual responsibility. You're such cowards, you're such weaklings. You go, we're going to vote to take their money, not mine, and give it to them, and that'll solve the problem, or at least make me feel good. Such a good Democrat. That's Michael Savage. Such a good person. I voted for the right thing. My children are drugs, but I'm a Democrat. And so now you instill that in your children. I would say the individual, probably more important. The love of your fellow man, human beings, kind of the most important. But no. It's you better have a D, or at least an S. Or no, at minimum a D, more like an S for social and basketball. Oh man, if you get a C, you're a really good person. And I'm sorry. Did the boomer teachers and your parents instill this in you when you were just little kids? Like maybe, I don't know, maybe you just want to be little kids. Huh? Maybe you didn't want to worry about what would it be back in the day, George Bush, whenever you were growing up. Maybe you didn't want to have your hippie teacher, some dying last gasp of breath boomer teacher with their thick glasses coming in, telling you how bad Ronald Reagan was, how bad the Republicans are. Oh my God, we're all going to die because of global warming. Here you are, 8 years old. Maybe you're forced to go to school, but you just want to play with a truck. Can I just learn, geez, lady, can I just learn reading, writing, and arithmetic? I don't like really being here. And the reading, writing, and arithmetic is pretty boring already. But can you shut the F up about this George Bush Sr. guy? What do you mean Iran-Contra? What are you talking about? Oh, are you doing the same thing to your kid? You are. You're not letting them be kids because you got to shove socialism up their ass. Boomers meet millennials. I know you hate it. It really is like the fascists and the communists fighting in World War II. The Nazis and the communists. I don't know why y'all hate each other so much. I didn't understand it. It's like, look, you want to tell all the companies what to do, so you effectively own them anyway. You're going to tell them what to do, so you own them. But you, the communist, tell them what to do because you own the company. I don't see the difference. You're both dictators. You both own the means of production. What are you arguing about? Same thing. The boomers lied to us. You're doing the same thing as the boomers did. You're on the same team. How about this? How about you unite? Okay. Oh my God. Would this just make you guys all cream your pants? How about this? How about you join forces? The millennial parents and the boomer parents join forces to double up on the kids, the millennial kids and the boomer grandkids. Like you get them, then your kids get you guys in stereo. The boomers corroborate the lies that the millennials are telling, and then you could screw up another generation of kids, huh? Won't that be fun? Then you get your socialism. They got your environmentalism. I mean, God, you're such a good person. Another lie. People should like you for you. You know, just be yourself. That really hurts the boys. Okay, boys, just in case you're wondering, nobody likes you for you. The great quote, which I forget who it was, but it certainly was not me. Women are human beings, men are human doings. You must do something to attract women. Ladies, the same thing for you. More recently, the lie is big is beautiful. You're just fine the way you are. No, you're not. Either this thing stands up and salutes or it doesn't. Which is fine. If you don't want to date, that's fine. But big is not beautiful. Okay. Society, the opposite sex has standards. We could, oh my God, how many all of what they were telling us since the 60s has been a lie. All of it. But generally speaking, if you would like to attract the opposite sex, you must become what the opposite sex likes. And that is the baseline truth of which we can debunk all the other lies, whether that's big is beautiful, just be yourself. Don't worry, the right girl will come along. Maybe it's you that's got the problem. Maybe you're just fishing in the wrong hole. No, it's you didn't go to the gym, boys, and you're not good looking enough. And frankly, this is just a natural course of it. You gotta wait till you're older till you start making a little bit of money, become an established and accomplished man, so you could show women like, look, yeah, see, I got some stuff going on. Girls, no. By all means, go major in engineering. Yeah. All means, have hobbies, go do a thing, get a career. Absolutely. That's better than lying around doing nothing. Absolutely. I'm all for that. No guy gives a damn. Not one guy. I don't care what your mom told you. Well, men really like smart girls. Yeah, we do. Men really like girls who are accomplished and have their act together. Yeah, we do. That helps out long term. Like you got your finances together and all. But more important than that, we want to bang you. So you better be hot. And if you ain't hot, ain't none of the other stuff going to compensate for it. All right, but and think about that. Think about that. The boomers who were not good at love and marriage. They told you all these lies. Now you're passing on the lies. You're ruining what should be the number one thing in other people's lives, and that is love. Probably your spouse or your significant other throughout your life. Straight gay or not, by the way. All right. Got to be physically attracted to one another. All right. The idea that you're good enough the way you are, just be yourself. And then, none of you are good enough the way you are. No, Gen X wisdom, Gen X truth bomb right here. Not a single one of you is good enough the way you are. You need to improve. You need to progress. But you telling these people these lies, you've ruined their love life. I don't know if that's kind of it. You've ruined their sex life. I don't know if that's kind of important to people anymore or not. Maybe not. Maybe younger people don't care about love or sex. I know I sure the hell do. And I know pretty much every generation before you in the entire history of humankind cared about that stuff. It's kind of important. But you're telling these kids, oh no. Another big one. You have a mental disorder. How many of you millennials were told that? And we need to put you on drugs. Your brain isn't done developing yet, but we're going to put you, because you have a case of the hood, or Asperger's, or autism, or social anxiety, all this other stuff. Now, the thing is, here's the real wicked, disgusting thing. People genuinely do have mental illness. Sometimes people do need help. Do you think for a damn second your parents or teachers actually gave a damn if you actually had a mental illness? Or was it they just didn't want to parent you? Or in the case of the parents, they didn't want to admit that they were crappy parents. And the consequence is, well, it wouldn't be aberrant behavior. If you have bad parents, the kids are going to act up. That's normal. I always get a kick out of people come up. Cappy, I lost my wife, my job. I found out I have a physical, or I got in a car accident. I'm feeling kind of depressed. What's wrong with me? Nothing. You should be depressed. If you were happy about this situation, then there'd be a problem with your mentality. But right now, your brain's working pretty darn good. I'm sad and depressed because I have nothing to look forward to. My parents have been lying to me this entire time, and I'm stuck 10 hours a day with the bus in this prison called school. I'm sad and depressed. Oh, you must have social anxiety disorder. Here's some drugs. No, you should be depressed. Your life is depressing. It's going to the gulag. And then they say, oh, you have the case of this. You have the case of this. Here's some drugs. Now, I'm going to bet, I don't know, but I'm going to bet 85% of you didn't have a disorder. You had crappy parents who didn't want to take responsibility and just want to say, oh, it's my children that have, oh, there is a mental disorder. And then there's some really sick effers out there. My child has special needs. I'm special because my child's special. Have you seen that? Some truly sick, twisted boomer parents? Gee, I wonder if there's some people doing the same thing in your generation to your kids. I wonder. I don't know. Again, I don't know why the communists and the fascists just don't team up and just obliterate the next generation. But then here's one, okay, where just like you were lied to about having a mental disorder, here's one that you guys have gone above and beyond the boomer Call of Duty. You set a new bar. You stood on the shoulders of these boomer parents, giants' shoulders. What's this thing trying to convince every little kid they're not straight? What's this thing about lying to them about their sexuality? And there's two levels here, okay? 8 years old? What? Look, forget what the lie is. Whether you want to convince them George Bush is the devil incarnate, or Democrats or socialism are great, or you're not straight, or whatever various gender sexuality may be out there. Can you let the kids be kids? I'm just as against telling kids about Jesus Christ or republicanism or free market capitalism at 8 years old as I am socialism or non-straight genders. Can you let them be kids? All right. And then when it comes time, sex ed time, 11, 12, 13 or whatever, can you just teach them the facts? Hey, 90 odd percent of people are straight. They are heterosexual. Certain percentage are not straight, generally falling into homosexual or bisexual. And then there's other. All right. And these are people too. There's nothing wrong with it. Might be statistically smaller or rare, but these are people too. They have every right. And if you are not sure, give it some time. But you might like guys if you're a guy. You might like girls if you're a girl. You might not know. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But generally, this is how it goes. No. Some of you, like the boomer parent, wanted the special needs kid, not because they wanted a special needs kid, because then they could jerk off to themselves about being a great person, like using it as a badge. All right. Some of you also want, you admit it. It's not even that you want a kid that isn't straight. You want to promote. Oh, it's like when those vegan parents accidentally kill their children because they don't give them protein when they're little babies. Your ideology is more important than what's in the best interest of the kids. Another one where occasionally, thank God it's rare, a not straight couple, doesn't matter, gay or lesbian, doesn't matter. We're going to raise our son, daughter to be gay. Wait a minute. I thought it's what it is. I thought it's not a choice. Why don't you let your kid do that? And so there's some of you parents, not all, some of you are going to try and force that on your kids. Because let's just admit it, like boomer parents, you love yourself more than your kids, right? Again, fascists and communists unite. But then you send them to the public schools where, geez, you think there's a political propaganda agenda there? They did a survey. What, 20% of Gen Zers claim not to be straight? All right, now I'll grant you. Out of that 20%, 18 are faking it because they want to be popular. I'll grant you that, okay? And there's 2% that are legit. but it didn't get to 20% without politically motivated teachers in an environment pushing. That's like, you think you're not straight, right? You're not straight, right? Huh? Here, isn't it cool? Isn't it? Look, I'm the cool hipster teacher. Hey, don't you want to be? I'm your friend. And you don't watch over your kids, kind of like the boomer parents did, like what's going on in the schools. You're not like, I'm pulling the kids out of here. We're homeschooling. You're not like sitting down talking to your kids like, hey, look, your teachers are whacked. Okay, the one with the tattoos on her face and has purple hair and claims to be a guy. All right. Yeah, she she might be. She might be. But you're not whatever, pansexual, son. You're 9 years old and you should be playing with trucks. Girls should be icky. They should play with the dolls or whatever it is. It's just nothing that you should be worried about. But, hey, your politics is more important than your children, right? Right? Yeah, of course. And for you teachers, you millennial teachers, just, obviously, you don't give a damn about education because you teachers never did. You just wanted summers off, an easy job, and to avoid work. You're just the most pathetic, disgusting people ever. And it's a shame that society lets children anywhere near you people. And it's not because like you're gropers or groomers or anything. That's not it. It's just you're completely worthless. You offer nothing of value. And if anyone loved their kids, they'd be pulling these kids out and homeschooling them and replacing teachers with YouTube and library books and parents, loving parents. But that ain't going to happen. I know, because it's more important you guys got babysitting so you guys can work your jobs and your career, right? Am I right? Am I right? So we're all boomers, right? And we're telling the exact same lie. Oh, and the final thing I want to point out about this, look, the previous lies that the boomers told you, you guys are telling your children and the boomers told you, it did result in an absolutely destroyed life. Am I correct? Am I correct? Don't say, but the boomers lied to us. That implies that your life is screwed up. How much pain and misery and agony are you going to put your children through convincing them they're not the gender that they are? Instead of letting that happen naturally and helping them find out to correctly identify, which the vast majority of them are straight, what's that like when you've either convinced them otherwise through political propaganda, teachers, or for the desire of them to be popular in school, which is a huge pressure, where they're faking it? What is going to be the psychological ramifications and costs of, like, let's say you're straight, who's really straight, but he ends up sucking dick anyway because it's popular or he doesn't know, because there wasn't anyone to counteract this peer pressure on the part of teachers. What do you think that's going to do to people? When you were lied to about having ADHD and you need to go on Ritalin and you were a bad misbehaving boy, how did that work? Did that have an effect on you? It did. I wonder what lying to people about their gender is going to do to them. And if you think you hate the boomers, holy cow, you have no idea how much your children are going to hate you. No freaking clue. No idea. Like you're not going to help your boomer parents in the nursing home. Like you're going to let them rot. When your kids wake up and look back, and they will because they got the internet now, and see what you did to them, and the hypocrisy, not to mention that too. Oh, they might go so far as to vote Republican and cut off all your Social Security. I don't know one's going to go that far. That would make sense. That would be wise budgeting and good fiscal frugality. But you want it, and your life is going to be just like the boomers. Millennial, thy name is Boomer. Meet thyself. And it's kind of a little bit too late already. I just, all it ultimately ends up being is that nobody wants to work and have responsibility. No one wants to go to school for the right thing. No one wants to work hard. No one wants to pay off their debts. No one wants to work a second job. And parenting is work if you're going to do it right. And let's just admit it. Just like the boomers didn't want to put the work into raising you, you don't want to put the work into raising your kids. And all these lies, no matter what variant or flavor, is just work abdication, responsibility abdication, avoiding work and responsibility and outsourcing it and blame shifting, deflection. Oh, it's the teachers, it's that, it's society, it's the isms, it's the is. No, it's really crappy parents. It's absentee parents. It's egotistical, egomaniacal parents who should not have bread. And the only reason you had kids, why? Because you wanted kids, because they're a thing to you. Just like the boomers. So if you'd like to not have another generation of pain and suffering, please, by the way, get the book below, How Not to Become a Millennial. Goes through everything we did wrong. But can we just stop lying to our children? And instead of pursuing the almighty dollar and jokes of degrees and careers, can we, you have a career, it pays for the food, clothing, and shelter, and then you raise your kids. It's not hard. Again, it's an ice cream sundae. First you had ice cream, yeah? Then you had chocolate sauce, yeah? Then you had sprinkles, yeah? Yeah, then you had a little whipped cream, yeah? And then there's a cherry on top. Oh, see how simple that was? Same thing. Don't lie to your kids. Have them only if you really want them. Raise them. That's the hard part. That's probably what we could consider the ice cream, the foundational part of the sundae. Keep an eye out for other people that are lying to them, namely teachers and professors. Make sure they don't major in dumb stuff and be honest with them about what the opposite sex wants. And your kids are not going to have the same miserable life that you did because we didn't lie to them. All right, I got 348 people. If you guys would kindly subscribe to my channel. We're at 91,006. We're that close to 100,000, guys. Please sign up. Please subscribe. You don't have to watch. Just please subscribe. Let's go to the super chats. I was going to drive out to Wyoming, and I'm like, I don't feel like driving out to Wyoming. So I'm just going to drive around the Black Hills, listen to podcasts. And that's why another one I did this. So wanted to knock out the request. But then I knew it. See, look, I got some super chats. Today's super chat. You know where today's super chat money's going to go? You know where it's going? It's not going to anything responsible like a septic tank or solar panels or insurance or property taxes. It's going to cigars, gas, and probably some food. Some really crappy South Dakota restaurant food. So let's go through the super chats and have ourselves a treat. Hatton Clogs 4334 for 5 gemstones. We believe the lies and are too lazy. So the cycle continues. That makes us have to say we were wrong, change, and do work. We're spoiled rotten. Yeah, I mean, to admit you were lied to, you were lied to. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But when you say we're lied to, you have a choice. Well, you could go after the boomers for retribution, which what I would say is you eliminate Social Security. That would be the way to do it. But if that's not going to happen because it's politically not popular, guess who's responsible? You are. But it's not fair. You're right. It's not fair. You got to, you're still here, guys, and you still got to make the choices, and you got to get yourself out of this situation. And I don't know if I talked about this before, but there's this book called How Not to Become a Millennial. How to Salvage Your Life is in here. Big Animation, 7 Canadian bucks. Try to find one of these cougar hats for hiking. Where did you find yours? No, I made mine. I got so what you need is you need to get a bright fluorescent type of color hat. Doesn't matter what color, as long as it's fluorescent, because that throws off the mountain lions. And I ordered these eye patches. They're big eyes and they're scary looking. And I just sewed them to the back of my hat. I'll show you guys one of these days. I'll show you my mountain lion protection gear. But yeah, so that's the hat. And then I got a chest carry where I got a 40 caliber Glock, just sits right on my chest. And then I go out and I hike. And I'll probably sling that over and go for a little bit of a hike. But yeah, you can't, you have to make it. And I just put the eyes are the key thing. So whatever hat you want, put the eyes on the back, stitch them up there. And that's what I did. Sat there for an hour stitching. Just finding thin women attractive is misogynist. No, it's not. No, it's facts. No, it's natural. Women don't like short guys. That's not misandrist. That's just is what it is. I'm I'm sorry, people who believe that are going to have a horrible, they're not going to have a sex life. They're not going to have a love life. Certainly not a good one. Certainly not an unconfused one. It, you know, if people want to believe it because they makes them feel better, fine. But look at all the people who believed Oprah's lies. Look where those old boomer women are now. They're all miserable. They're all miserable. Alex Bogey, 10 generous dollars. My boomer father still thinks that I just did not market my finance degree well enough. Even though I showed him how me being part of a tax advisor earned only $10. Even DoorDash pays more. Yeah, finance. Have them go. You could search my channel, and I have several videos about why finance is a worthless degree. Show it to your dad, and if that's not enough to convince him, you got to. It's not that you walk away and you just abandon your boomer father, but you just like pat him on the head. Okay, dad, sky's red. Okay, dad, she's a guy. Whatever, you know. Yeah, never major in finance. King Hueco, $2. Oh, the Latinos in the Dragon Ball Z. Oh. Boy, you guys sure like your long, dragged out, not really fighting, talking Japanese anime, don't you? So many girls I know who are bold communists. Yes, because they were told to be. That's their diet plan. That's how they plan on losing weight. Stan the Milkman, $5 doing fly in, fly out in the desert away from my 2-year-old daughter is hard, but got promotion to senior engineering and hang downtown where the action is. Well, forget where the action is. Spend time with your daughter. Have a good time. And you know what, Stan? Having you here, we know that you're going to tell your daughter to major in the right thing. You're going to spend time with your daughter. You're not going to lie to your daughter. And I wonder if your daughter's going to come out better than the majority of millennials and Gen Zers did. What is the generation? Is it Generation Alpha that the millennials are raising now? Is that the generation? Generation Alpha? I'm sorry, guys. Hey, I'm not running out of business. I'll never run out of business. In a sick, twisted, wicked way. I need you millennial parents and whatever, Gen Z parents. I need you to keep lying to your kids so they get screwed up and they come looking for the truth and a percentage of them land at my doorstep. All right? I need you guys to keep lying to your kids, destroying their lives, causing such pain and agony and confusion. That's the hard part, is the confusion. I need you to keep lying to them about reality. So they inevitably Google search something, it hits and lands on my YouTube page or a blog, and they say, who's this Aaron Cleary guy? Oh, I'm the guy that charges $300 to tell you the truth your parents would never tell you. Oh my God, I'm so desperate, I'll actually pay for it. Here's $200. What should I do? Hit the gym and go back to school for accounting. Oh my God, it's genius. No, I just didn't lie to you like your parents and teachers and guidance counselors and media and Democrat politicians and the corporations. I'm not a great economist. I'm a great economist, but I'm not super smart. I just point out the emperor has no clothes. That's it. That's it. Oh. Ass bucket 62. $5. Went to an outdoor event yesterday. When you people watch, you can see how common women are. Multiple tats, multiple piercings while clutching their iPhone. Yeah, I go. Now, admittedly, I am in not the worst place, but one of the lower places for female beauty and male beauty too. Man, it is depressing going to the Walmart. It is just depressing going to the Walmart. And modern life, John is right. I mean, we've been inured to this. We've been boiled as a frog in the pot that people have slowly gotten uglier and more disgusting. And now you look at it. If you take the eye off, you get splashed with a little bit of cold water. You look, you're like, this is just an ugly society. It's just ugly people. Yeah, and I'll be perfectly honest. If you're fat, your chances, there's always a chance. Your chances are incredibly low of having a good sex life and a good love life. Again, how important is love and sex to you? Is it important enough to give up your eating addiction, essentially? If it's not, fine. Continue to eat and be happy and relax and be joyful in your gluttony. All right, enjoy gluttony. It's a luxury. You can enjoy it, but don't still at the same time pine and hope you're going to find a guy or a gal for that matter just all these people that aren't going to find love or sex. It's really sad. I mean, even if you're in shape and okay looking, it's still a challenge to get love and sex. I mean, not like the girls are just handing it out left and right. Although I guess on the seeking arrangements, they kind of are. Johnny Green, $2. Here's a little something for that dry throat. It's, guys, if you're new, this cough is never going away. I've had it since I was 3 years old. It's not a dry cough. It's not a cigarette cough, a smoker's cough. It's not cancer. It's not something wrong with my esophagus. I had a massive allergic reaction. I'll never forget it. Speaking of boomers, Dad made me go underneath my bed at 3 years old with a hand brush and mop up and clean underneath because he was real pissed off that there were dust bunnies underneath my bed. And something got in my system. Had a massive allergic reaction. My eyes swelled shut. I remember just going to the hospital, and ever since then, I've had this cough. And it's actually kind of improved a little bit. Actually, it improved. And then when also I became this internet podcasting guy, using my voice obviously makes it worse. But unless you are a top-notch ears, nose, and throat specialist who knows exactly what this is, because I've gone to ENT guys before and gals. I'm like, I don't know what it is. And so it's been looked at. But if you're like, I know exactly what that is, all right, please email me. I don't want any non-medical professionals emailing me their honey lozenges throat treatment, of which I have one, and it did kind of work, actually. I do appreciate the care and concern. Generation Apollo 10 generous dollars. Millennials buying the globalist agenda because they want the strong parental authority, and they never had. Poor and desperate. I see similar parallels to Weimar Germany that allowed fascism to breed. I don't know. I don't think the millennials, well, they certainly were not taught independent thinking. I don't know why. I don't know. They know they were lied to, and they should be angry. And logically, I'd say, okay, well, who did all the lying? And I'm not making this up. If you look at it, it was the left that lied to you. Everything from teachers to professors to the media. They all told you this, I don't know even how you fall for it. Hey, we all don't have to work, and we don't have to have responsibility, and things will happen, and it'll just be good. What if it doesn't turn out good? Well, then it's the white males in the Republican Senate's fault. Run that by me again, will you? It's a quote. What's going to happen is what's going to happen, but I can't. I've been called every possible name by the millennials because I told them the truth. Every type of Istanism. Ooh, how original, kids. Gee, tell me I'm a bigoted Istanism again because I advocate low taxes. But that just tells you, all right, so you're not going to make the changes required to salvage the remaining half of your life. All right, enjoy wasting all your life. Enjoy it. Moran Jewel. 20, Moran's a good guy. He's a good guy. Has nothing, again, to do with the $20 he just gave me. I'm just saying he's a great man, a good man, an upstanding man, a man we should all aspire to be like. Part-time job is a second income versus part-time apprenticeship, much lower pay to learn skills like carpentry, plumbing, HVAC. Actually, like real skills, which is better. Thanks again for the advice. Unless you absolutely needed the money, like you're trying to pay off some critical debt, I would do the apprenticeship because that's going to increase your future wages down the road. So yeah, I would take the apprenticeship. Absolutely. Unless like your kids need food and your budget is that tight that you can't afford to sacrifice for the lower pay. But absolutely, I would go with the apprenticeship. That's a no-brainer. Because then life just gets exponentially easier as time goes on. And I would almost argue, like, once you become just barely competent, now you can start doing stuff on the side and for cash. David, $122. Buy some ice cream at Dairy Queen and not at Sonic. Dairy Queen's not that good. Just not that good. And they were overpriced for what you get. And today is not a cheat day. I'm going strict back to keto. I got the time. So I'm gonna go back to that. And like on cheat day, I'll get some ice cream. But if I'm gonna cheat, my go-to now is crumble cookie. I'll go to crumble cookie for my cheat day. Now, I'll still go to Sonic for the double bacon cheeseburger with jalapenos and their tater tots. Hell yes to that. Hell yes. But yeah, if I'm going to get an ice cream or a sugary treat, it's crumble cookie. There are some good confectionery places in Rapid City, though. I'll grant you that. There's Mount Mary Cookies. And there's another one over north on, well, it's south from the city, but it's north from me on Mount Rushmore Road. I forget the name of it, but they haven't been open in a while. Tyrone W., $5 generous. Clary, what do you think about drug testing for a job? I know you're anti-weed, but what are your thoughts from Freedom FU employer standpoint? No alcohol testing. They're a private company, so they have the right to hire whoever they want. Tyrone, I'm just going to assume you're black. I'll go to an extreme of where I think this should go. If they want to discriminate against people because of skin color, gender, what, you shouldn't, but it's your company. If you want to be an idiot and like, we're only hiring white people when there's a perfectly qualified Hispanic or black guy, you're the one that loses out. And I'm aware that because of history and all that maybe there should be some laws, but in Cappy's ideal world, what I'm going to is property rights. That's that guy's or gal's company. They could say, hey, we only hire, this might even be the case in Utah. We only hire, what the hell's the religion? Mormons. We're a Mormon company. All right. We only hire black people. We're Black Wall Street back in the day in New York. No one looked that up. So they have the right, like, we don't want you to do drugs. We don't want you to do pot. Me personally, like if I were to run it, it depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm having you be a truck driver, yeah, you're not on anything. Yeah, we're doing drug tests. Absolutely. Because the insurance costs, I can't have you high or drunk while driving a truck. But I'm trying to think, where would I be okay if you were a little tipsy? Like if I ran a bar and you want to have a couple cocktails, I wouldn't mind as long as you kept it together. If you were high, you weren't like completely dopey and stank. Okay. But the one thing generally to look at these questions of employer, or anything like there's another party involved, what are their rights? Like a perfect example, I'll give you another politically unpopular position that I have. Google. YouTube has every right to do whatever it wants. It's a private company. If they want to hate on libertarian, conservative, right-wing type of people, they have every right. They're their own company. But in today's modern context, it's like, yeah, you got every right to get sued by Dennis Prager. You claimed it. You'd say one thing, but then you're not doing another thing. And so it's, that's where I get the hypocrisy. It's like, look, either you're a platform or you're a publisher, if anyone you're familiar with that argument. But basic brass libertarian tax, it's a private company. They could do whatever they want. So kind of think about, let's say you ran a company, Tyrone, and you, for whatever reason, or maybe not whatever, very good reasons, you're running I'm trying to think, some requires response, a programming, a coding thing. You can't have you guys showing up drunk or high. All right. You're like, no, I need you guys. So we're doing tests. Is that a violation of their privacy rights? Kind of, but you also have your own private rights in terms of private property ownership of the company to do with it as you please. And so, and let's say you want to help out the black community. Like, no, we're only hiring black people. I want to help out some people get out of the ghetto. Screw you guys. Okay, well, that's racism and discrimination. Well, yes, it is. But this would have gone back into the days of, you'd have, not fraternal orders. They fell under fraternal orders, but there were associations and groups like the Italian American League. They're not going to help out the Irish. They're purposely there to help out. Oh, you're Italian. You're coming from the mother country. Here, we'll help you out. We'll get you insurance. We'll look for jobs for you on the docks, that kind of thing. It's a different system of free choice, which inherent to it, with freedom comes the freedom to discriminate, justly or unjustly. But yeah, when it comes to drug tests and alcohol tests and whatever else, especially if it depends, like if there's risks and safety involved with the company, yeah, I would say they have the right, and they should, for the safety of society. So yeah, it's not it's not straight down the plate as you'd like it to be sometimes. Alex Bogey, $5. Millennials taking it out on their kids like B. B reminds me of the military. Sergeants would abuse privates as revenge for being abused by their sergeants. I don't think the millennials take the. I really think they're free range parents again. I don't think the millennials are taking anything out on their kids. That's the problem. They're not disciplining their kids. Ooh, the no spank thing. I know Stefan Molyneux disagrees. Foster. What's his first name? Why can't I remember his first name? They disagree with the spanking. I don't. They have their reasons and the research and all that. I'm just looking like this is what happens when you don't spank your kids. But they're definitely not spanking their kids. Hat and Clogs, again. Now Hat, he's 1 penny better than the other guy. $20 for the cigar. Treat yourself well. I found a really good cigar for $8. A really good cigar, and so I can get almost 3 cigars, 2.5 cigars with the $20. Bob for $5. Is bookkeeping a good side gig? And do you need a certificate? No, bookkeeping is a great side gig. Here, go to QuickBooks online, QuickBooks certification. Look up QuickBooks certification. You don't even have to go to school anymore for accounting. Just go get your QuickBooks certification. That'll train you in doing the software, which will then backdoor teach you how to do accounting. And then you'll have years experience accounting. And I think if you go through the training, they even line you up with work. Absolutely, bookkeeping is it. And if you don't believe me, here, if you guys are interested in an accounting career, it might take some time. Go tune into the Elkins Accounting Hour. It's on YouTube. Binge on the stuff. He talks about, among other things, accounting, like taxes and the IRS. He talks about getting careers in accounting. There is a shortage of accountants. They can't find enough accountants. Accountants are like, ooh, gross. You're an accountant? Ooh. My 250-pound ass is going to go to Walmart with my children, my crotch fruit, and I'm not going to date you. You're an accountant, girl. So it's not a big girl pickup, all right? But yeah, you could do it online. You could do it from the mountains. You could do it from the beaches. Yeah, go do it. If you want a certificate, I think the first certificate would be an associate's degree. But then there are other certificates outside the education industry, like an enrolled agent certificate, the QuickBooks certificate. So I would do QuickBooks certificate, get a couple of years experience on that. Also concurrently taking classes in accounting. Then I would also take the enrolled agent certificate, learn how to do taxes. And man, you may not even have to go get a degree in accounting. You may be perfectly fine with that level of side gig work from the comforts of your own home. Yosef Talawi, 10 British pounds. As a teacher in Britain, it's about 10 years behind you. Schools are incentivized to pass tests, not learn skills. Plus, the government views student debt as another form of taxation. The government views student debt. Oh, so I presume the United Kingdom government charges interest on it, so they get tax revenue from it. What's 1 trillion? That's $100 trillion, $100 billion in tax revenue, interest tax revenue. Students pay on the student loans. Government's your friends, guys. Government's your friend. We just need more socialism. We need to print off more money. Stick with it there, Yosef. But man, the second it starts becoming clown world and mentally ill, and you got to teach little boys that might be little girls, and I mean little boys, like, they're under 10. Get yourself a plan B. Maybe become an accountant. R, $5. Seems like liberals, Dems will give up meat, driving, and personal health if it is sold to them as virtue. Yeah. Another thing, and you guys can all see this, a lot of it is that they never invested in anything real to give them value in life, like a family, a real career, physique, love, adventure, true creation and innovation, whether that's of the scientific variety where you're creating things to help improve society, or genuine talented art, making things that are beautiful. They got nothing. all they have is their politics. And so all they're doing is to just double down. I mean, imagine it's exactly parallel to the not legit Christians who like, well, we're Christian, we believe in Jesus and the afterlife, and he died for our sins, and we'd like you to join. But where that's all they got, the Bible thumpers. And I saw that when I was, my dad was a pastor and I was in the church, not by choice. Dude, the people who banged the loudest were the least Christian. They weren't Christian at all. They didn't give a damn about Jesus or God or the salvation. All they wanted to do was Lord, unless that's all they had. Because they had nothing else going on. Usually it was the old lady who was like a widow or something, and they didn't have a job. They didn't have anything else going on in their lives. Your born again Christians are very much like that. They don't believe in a drop of the Bible. It's just that they did something horrific, usually screwed up some kids they had that they shouldn't, and now they want forgiveness. So it's kind of the same thing there. What does your average 41-year-old divorced millennial with child support, student loan debts, a joke of a profession, a joke of a degree have in their lives, except for the politics? Like, to admit that they're wrong and that they got to go back and that time is tickety-tock, and they got to do overtime to make their life count. That is a huge future, lifelong obligation, responsibility. It's like taking on a 15 to 20 hour a week job for the rest of your life to make your life now count. I got to get in shape. I got to do something valuable. I got to, I don't know, build a house. I'm trying to think of things that are tangible. Or, well, you just didn't pray hard enough. You didn't flagellate yourself enough. Now, if you go eat the bugs, if you vote for super socialism, by gosh, then you're a really, really, really good person with cherries on top. And then be like, I am. But in the end, when you're 65, 70, and you're living on your government pension and you have nothing to show for it, I mean, you're alive, you get your free food, clothing, and shelter, but no one wants to hang out with you because no one hangs out with people who don't produce something of value. And your life, your luxuries include watching TV or getting pissed off on watching CNN, or you could say the same thing of Fox News. And, I don't know about you guys, but I want to have sex until I'm dead. So I'm going to stay in shape, and you're not, because you're fat and old. You can't go for a hike. That's where it ends up. And then there's no denying it. And they will be miserable. And then they'll hate Trump. They'll really hate Trump, or whoever the new guy will be. Man, you thought they couldn't hate anyone more than George Bush Jr. And then Trump came along. Like, it doesn't matter who the Republicans field as a president. The entire system will engage to paint that guy as even the worser Trump, the more hateable Trump. David, $2. They say chakra crystals can be used to cure coughs. Yep. I'm sure. Yep. They say that. They could say a lot of things. Eric Burns, Marsh, $5. Since today's not cheat day, have some Halo Top. What's Halo Top on me? I got some burgers. I'm going to go microwave the burgers and go for a drive. I've been using Breves because they got cream in them to kill the hunger. So I don't eat until about 1 or 2. Ed Igman, it's actually a good diet. You guys want a diet? Here's what you do, okay? It takes a while to train your stomach to get low, but to get smaller. But you wake up, and you just don't eat. Get on with your day, which most of you, I think, do because we got stuff going on. Who has time for breakfast? Breakfast was communist propaganda. And then if you can make it till noon, preferably 1, then you allow yourself to have a meal. But in the meantime, to get rid of the hunger pangs, have yourself a Breve ready to go and just kind of sip on that for a while, and that will put your at least the worst of the hunger pangs at bay. And then you'll have a meal at lunch. Don't have too big of a meal because then you get tired. And then in the evening, you can have yourself another meal. But I'll tell you, all of a sudden you do that for about a week, and then, or certainly 2 weeks, and then you're not hungry. You have that Breve, you're not hungry until 5. And then I've had it where I had to remind myself to eat. Like, did I eat today? Oh crap! I better get on and do my thing. So there's the Clary diet for you, ladies. I'd recommend you do it, but you don't have to because big is beautiful. And don't worry, Prince Charming. He's right around the corner. He's right around here. Him and Ryan Gosling are right around that corner. Someday, your prince will come. And if he doesn't, it's the evil white men, Republicans in the Senate who prevented him from coming. Mitch McConnell. Ed Igma, $5. Would you consider a hike with Cappy event? I'm sure many here would go no matter where it is. Count me in. I might. I need to rest and maybe next year. It might be in Vegas. Maybe I do it in Vegas because everyone could kind of fly in. I'll bring a gun, so if anyone thinks they're going to sneak in and take a shot at me, pop. A lot of people don't know this, but when I meet people, there usually is a gun. They're usually under the table, Han Solo style. So in case like, you're Clary, yeah, I am. Who are you? Although it's never had, you could look. It's like, yeah, it doesn't look like some soy boy Antifa with a tattoo on his nose. So maybe. Are we caught up? I think I'm caught up. Maybe I can go hop and drive around, enjoy a cigar. Now the cigar lounge is open. Hat and Clogs, $2. Halo is ice cream, Cappy. Be fat, healthy. Like, is Halo? Wait, is it named after the video game? They named it Halo, or after the angel Halo? I prefer Talenti. If I'm gonna be fancy hoity-toity with the oopty-loopty and fancy schmancy, I'm doing Talenti. And then usually that's at most grocers. And that's the best ice cream, grocery store ice cream you can get. And usually it's better than what you're going to, certainly better than what you're going to get at Dairy Queen. That being said, there is a really good ice cream place, Two Kyle's Ice Cream, down in Hot Springs, South Dakota. Atham, look it up. You got to be I'm surprised there's even anything out there. You got to be everyone looked it up. Hot Springs, South Dakota. It is way out there, man. There is nothing there. Although Hot Springs is there. Halo Top is a keto-friendly ice cream. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll try that. Okay, I'll try that. Halo. Maybe it is at the grocery store. I'll have to check it. All right, there you go. All right, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Subscribe, please, to the channel. If you don't want to have a miserable life like the millennials, hey, millennials. If you actually want to be open-minded and read a book that might be constructively critical of how you've been lied to and how you've lived your life, get How Not to Become a Millennial. It will save your life, but that requires you to admit that you were lied to, and consequently, by not necessarily any fault of your own, you're wrong. And if any of you younger people want to, this doesn't make sense, I'm hoping the internet is getting out there and explains, makes people question things your parents and elders are telling you. But if you want to look at the main lies that they're trying to tell you, get How Not to Become a Millennial. And I explain why it's lies. It's not very complicated. And for God's sake, and if even that's too much for you, here you go. Here's the same, 4 rules again. Don't have more kids than you can afford. Don't major in stupid crap. Don't commit no crime, and spend less than you make. If you just follow that, guys, it's all going to be good. All right. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.